Um, um, I made a presentation 1 year ago in Brussels during that conference where on behalf of the German OEMs like Volkswagen, Mercedes, BMW, Porsche, Audi, we did a 3-year trial with AdBlue pumps for passenger cars. And what I like to tell you or show you now is what we did in the last 12 months. So in this morning we heard about a lot about communication, and the majority of my presentation will be to show you where we invest our money in training our forecourt attendants and service staff across Europe. This is a typical disclaimer, I apologize, but I have to show you. So what is Shell about? So we are an integrated energy company, and of course we're exploring oil and gas, but at the end, what you see, we sell our products at the retail sites on the fuels, lubricants, and of course a very important product, AdBlue. What we are, we do have worldwide 43,000 retail sites and nearly 500,000 frontline colleagues working at the retail sites, and we serve roughly 25 million customers a day across 70 countries, and we sold last year more than 160 billion liters of fuels, so gasoline and diesel. And in our shops we actually had an approximately 6 billion turnover, and in that shop we sell also coffee, 100 million cups of coffee, 250 million soft drinks, and 450 million snacks. Very important for us and also for the AdBlue business is, of course, the transactions for our Shell fuel card. So we have 260 million transactions with our fuel cards, especially when it comes to diesel drivers on the leasing. They very often have these Shell fuel cards. And we attract also a lot of customers, 90 million active users on our Shell Loyalty Club card. In Europe, out of the 43,000 retail sites, we have roughly 10,400 retail sites where we operate in 4 different models. So a retail site could be owned by Shell, so we call it company owned. A retail site could be owned by the dealer, but sell Shell fuels and under the Shell brand, so we call it dealer owned. Or we the dealer sell under the Shell brand, but pick up the fuels from the refinery. We call it wholesales. This is a business model predominantly in North America. And we have a more increasing business model. We call it license partner, which you see the Shell brand, but the retail sites are not operated by Shell. They are operated by a third party. So it's a license company, especially in countries in Africa we operate, or in Europe, especially in Spain and Portugal, or in the Scandinavian countries, we're operating on this model. A very important number here as well, you remember the sales we did in the shops. So we actually have 8,000 convenience stores, shops at the retail sites of our 43,000 retail sites. And predominantly these shops are located in Europe. What is the current situation on the AdBlue supply from Shell? So on the truck business, we have roughly 1,000 retail sites in Europe with AdBlue pumps with a high throughput rate of 40 liters per minute. The industry have roughly 7,000, so we think we have a good footprint on the heavy-duty vehicles. On the passenger cars, we offer AdBlue from Shell, so the Shell-branded AdBlue, on 3,400 retail sites. So it's important that and I think in the morning we heard about the infrastructure, what it is all about. So for us it's the availability of AdBlue to the customer, it's important, and in a 3,400 retail sites we can guarantee the AdBlue from Shell. In addition, we trained our forecourt attendants, so we have forecourt attendants. It's a service free of charge in Germany, in UK, and in the Eastern European countries in Europe. So we trained all the forecourt attendants on AdBlue. So, and I come a little bit later on the next slide, what it is all about. And we invested millions of dollars in our European communication, so not only on AdBlue, but also on training our service staff. We have roughly, out of the 500,000 worldwide, we have roughly 50,000 people working in Europe for Shell. From the pack product, we currently offered on the canister and the 1.5 liter bottle for AdBlue. We introduced recently a new bottle with a 3.5 liter, and this was or is well received so far. Before I go to the forecourt attendants, I would like to show you a quick video which we actually produced, and the lady you will see is Dr. Regine Hallmann. She is actually responsible for AdBlue from Shell in Germany, Austria and Switzerland, and hopefully it works. It's only 3 minutes.
Hallo, ich bin Regine Hallmann von Shell und dort verantwortlich für AdBlue. Viele neue Dieselfahrzeuge benutzen bereits AdBlue. Ob Ihr Fahrzeug diesen Zusatzstoff benötigt, entnehmen Sie Ihrem Betriebshandbuch. Wenn Ihr Dieselfahrzeug AdBlue benötigt, dann wird irgendwann bei Ihnen im Display die AdBlue-Warnlampe aufblinken. Wissen Sie, was Sie dann am besten machen? Ab zu Ihrer nächsten Shell-Station, idealerweise mit Shell-Tankwart-Service. Das ist AdBlue. Es ist eine geruchlose und farblose Flüssigkeit, bestehend aus Harnstoff und Wasser. Es reduziert die Stickoxidemissionen Ihres Dieselmotors um bis zu 90%. Das ist gut für die Umwelt und Ihr Auto erfüllt damit die Euro-6-Norm, die vorgeschrieben ist. Und ganz wichtig zu wissen, ist der AdBlue-Tank einmal völlig leer, springt Ihr Motor tatsächlich nicht mehr an. An immer mehr Shell-Stationen erkennen Sie an diesem Symbol auf dem Monolithen, hier gibt es den Shell-Tankwart-Service und dort ist der Tankwart Ihr richtiger und kompetenter Ansprechpartner. Doch auch an Shell-Stationen ohne Shell-Tankwart-Service sind Sie bei uns immer an der richtigen Adresse. AdBlue für Pkw gibt es als verpackte Ware natürlich in jedem Shell-Shop. Sie brauchen aber keine Angst haben, dass Sie da nicht ankommen. Sie können auch bis zu 2000 Kilometer fahren. Je nach Fahrzeugmodell befindet sich der AdBlue-Tank an verschiedenen Stellen. Im Kofferraum, im Motorraum und unter der Tankklappe. Ganz wichtig ist, es gibt unterschiedliche Methoden, AdBlue zu befüllen. Dazu müssen Sie wissen, AdBlue ist gesundheitlich unbedenklich. AdBlue greift jedoch bestimmte Materialien an, wie zum Beispiel einige Metalle, Lacke, Leder und Textilien und hinterlässt dort Flecken. Am leichtesten geht das Befüllen hier unter dem Tankdeckel. Dazu eignet sich diese 4,7 Liter Kanister. Für die Befüllung im Kofferraum und Motorraum haben wir spezielle Flaschen mit der Menge 1,5 und 3,5 Liter. Unsere Flaschen sind einfach und sicher. Flasche öffnen, roten Sicherheitsverschluss entfernen, Flasche festdrehen, auf Start drücken und wenn der Durchfluss stoppt, wieder auf Stopp drücken. Und da AdBlue im Innenraum tatsächlich Schaden anrichten kann, eignen sich diese Flaschen für die Befüllung dort besonders. Und jetzt fragen Sie sich, ob Sie das nicht selber machen können. Ja, das können Sie. Aber viel entspannter ist es, wenn es Ihr Tankwart an der Shell-Station macht. Der kennt sich damit aus und füllt viel häufiger AdBlue nach, als Sie es tun. Und der Service ist für Sie natürlich kostenlos. Also kommen Sie zur nächsten Shell-Station mit Shell-Tankwart-Service. Ihr Tankwart erwartet Sie mit Know-how und freundlichem Service.
Okay. That is a good intro for now talking about our Shell forecourt service. Later on in this day we have a filling presentation, and I actually bring one of my colleagues, Tom Reeder. He is forecourt, or he actually trained forecourt service, so he will tell you, if you go ahead, all about this service, how we trained the forecourt attendants. Is a four-phase training model, yeah, happy to show you then this afternoon how it works. What I would like to get you on this slide is really the customer feedback. So across Europe, we collected via our last 12 months experience. First of all, we trained our forecourt attendants and service staff that the customer, the driver from a passenger car, should not go to the AdBlue pump for trucks. It's very easy, and we trained them very hard and very extensively to argument with one comment. It's really HSSE, so safety. So if everything happened in the truck lane for a passenger car, either it's an overspill or whatever, they use any adapters which we don't know exactly. So we generally advise them not to tank on the truck AdBlue pump, and advise them to go to the passenger line. Secondly, we trained the AdBlue the forecourt attendants as an AdBlue expert. So he has a sticker next to him where he actually has a blue sticker. He's an AdBlue expert, and he can get some really qualified information about AdBlue in general. But as Regina Hallmann explained in the video, also is very trained on all kind of models to refill in the trunk or wherever the refill of AdBlue is. And of course, he can then basically advise the customer which kind of format of mode of supply he needs. So a spill-free bottle, for example, or a more cost-efficient canister solution. We experienced that more and more customers know that this service is for free of charge. A couple of years ago, we introduced this forecourt attendants, and I don't know if you know it, we introduced it where you have the offer to pay €1 for this service. Yeah. But we decided not to do it anymore, so it's really free of charge. And of course, you still have a kind of emotional feeling that you would like to pay for something, but it's really free of charge. The customers actually see the forecourt attendants as very positive, friendly, and supportive. This we see really in sales of AdBlue. So on retail sites where we do have forecourt attendants, we sell more than double of AdBlue than on retail sites we don't have the forecourt attendants. And the beauty is that in some markets we are the only retailer which have a forecourt attendants, which is for us a unique selling point. So as I said, we trained the forecourt attendants on AdBlue, and he has it in his elevator. We call it elevator speech, because when you come to the retail sites, you probably have a minute with the forecourt attendants, and he tells you a little bit about V-Power, our premium product, potentially about if you need something on refilling on lubricants, on Shell Helix. But he will also, if it's a diesel car, he give you and ask you for AdBlue support. What we did, not only on the forecourt attendant, but and that is the next video I show you. It's in German without subtitles, so apologize for that. But it should give you a feeling for the non-German speaker here in the room, where what we do across Europe to train not only on AdBlue but on the emotionally communication to our customers. And we actually trained in Europe 50,000 forecourt or service staff.
Ich finde den Truck super toll. Die ganzen Stationsmitarbeiter auf der Außenseite von dem Truck sieht echt super aus.
Ich finde es sehr schön, dass Tuba auf dem Truck ist, weil ich arbeite sehr gerne mit Tuba und ich mag Tuba voll.
Ja, es ist speziell, mal was anderes. Ich habe das so noch nie gesehen.
Der Truck an sich voll nice, ehrlich gesagt. Ist mal was ganz anderes. Sowas habe ich noch nie gesehen, so ein Truck. Macht schon Spaß.
Als wir den Truck gesehen haben, habe ich gedacht, wow, jetzt bin ich gespannt, was auf mich zukommt.
Das hat man mal analysiert. Ne? Menschen wollen ja gerne wissen, was andere erfolgreich macht oder wie man erfolgreich werden kann. Und da hat sich herausgestellt, die 3 Hauptzutaten sind Wissen, Fähigkeiten und unsere Einstellung.
Willkommen bei Shell bringt für mich als Shell-Partner, dass wir alle gemeinsam an unserer Einstellung arbeiten. Ich, meine Stationsleiter und mein gesamtes Team.
Das heißt Adlerauge, Bauerlebnis +1 auf dem Stimmungsbarometer. Jetzt will ich mal noch gar nicht verraten, was wir damit meinen, sondern ich will erst mal nachdenken lassen.
Weil manchmal kommen die Kunden rein und die Zigaretten oder der Kaffee steht schon vorne fertig. Und dann sagt er bestimmt, wow.
Ich finde es spitze, dass sich die Shell da so viel Mühe macht, so einen Tag zu organisieren, wo wir da so tolle Sachen lernen.
Big Belt Casserola.
Hi, mein Name ist Adison.
Das Schönste für mich heute ist, sich selber zu öffnen, gegen andere Leute.
Ich bin Stationsleitung seit Juni und heute auch Service Coach. Also als Service Coach vorne zu stehen, war natürlich eine super Erfahrung. Man steht da wie so ein Fels in der Brandung und probiert die Mitarbeiter zu stärken.
Ich habe auf jeden Fall gelernt, etwas toleranter und lernbereiter zu sein.
Dieses Training, das hilft mir nicht nur in der Ausbildung, es hilft mir auch nach der Ausbildung.
Zum Beispiel, dass ich nicht so viel klagen werde oder kritisiere, mehr lächeln tue.
Das ist unglaublich, was ich da gesehen habe. Die Emotionen, die die Mitarbeiter hatten, wie sie mitgemacht haben, das macht mich richtig, richtig stolz.
M für meckerfrei und N für nett.
Also der Wow-Moment heute Morgen war eigentlich zu sehen, wie die Mitarbeiter langsam aufblühen und aus der Komfortzone rauskommen.
Ja, also einer dieser Momente war zu sehen, wie sich Menschen entwickeln in so kurzer Zeit und bewegen.
Viel Spaß beim Training im Truck, freut euch drauf.
Willkommen bei Shell.
Yeah, so that is the summary of my presentation, basically, that since the last 12 months we invested really heavily in communication of an not easy product of AdBlue into our retail network in Europe. And we hope that and we believe that AdBlue and the diesel is a sustainable business to be in, and therefore we invested this money in better communication to the drivers, to the customers around Europe. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Stefan. I've got a question for you. It's in 2 parts. So, given that the main stakeholder that we don't have in the room today is the customer, but you've had this contact for your 50,000 trained staff now. So the first part of the question is, how much awareness has there been of AdBlue when the customer first arrives at the service station? And then the second part is, what has been the feedback generally on the experience and the level of acceptance of the technology and of AdBlue generally from the feedback you've got from your staff?
Yeah, so that is not only German feedback, it's especially in the UK. We collected feedback in the Benelux. Most of the diesel car drivers with SCR technology comes to our retail sites when the alarm is ringing, and basically have really very limited until no information about AdBlue. And that's the reason why we put general and more expert knowledge in the forecourt attendants and service staff to give them really at the retail sites more information. So I think I know we heard this morning from Mrs. Berg that in Germany the communication level might be more medium versus in Europe low. From our perspective, from our experience from the last 12 months, I still believe that it's still both low, so in whole Europe. So we need really more communication to the end customer. They very often even said that they have even no clue. So, and that's we understand because a lot of diesel car drivers are leasing car drivers, company car drivers, and the handover of a new car to this is basically very limited. You cannot even control it from the OEM perspective to basically hand over a car. What exactly is communicated above a car of a company car? So therefore we said, well, we have to educate the customer at the retail site.
Okay, thank you. And just in terms of the feedback you've got in terms of once they've been educated, how have they found the interaction with the product?
Yeah, first of all, they were surprised where the AdBlue filling is. So, and then the forecourt attendants very often used a spill-free bottle for refill in the trunk or in the front side where the engine is. And as in the video showed, because this is a quite expensive bottle, the spill-free solution, but when it is the refill next to the diesel, then we suggest to use a canister. And as I said, the service is free, so they really like to have the information, the friendliness, but also the service for free refill.
Okay, thank you. Have you got any questions from the floor?
Good morning. You mentioned obviously you have drip-free bottles and canisters. My experience in the UK is you don't normally have both of them available at the same station. So it'll either be the drip-free, at the moment obviously we see the 1.5, I know it's going to the 3.5, or we have the canisters. In Europe, do you actually put both of them available to the customer so the expert can make the choice, or do you basically just have one and make do?
We offer the whole range, so 1.5, 3.5 liter spill-free bottle, and basically 5 or 4.7 liter and 10 liter canister in the majority of the markets where where we have these solutions. Or in UK, for example, we just roll out a 3.5 liter bottle, so you will see it, but 6 months ago you haven't seen it. But where it's available and where we have the business model where we can actually implement this, where we have a company-owned business model, as I showed you earlier, then we will implement it.
Okay, so yeah, thank you for that. So in all of your stations where you deploy AdBlue in bottles, you're going to have the drip-free version, but in somewhere you feel the model is available, then you put the canister there as well. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe I did not understand the question correctly. Sorry.
I've seen what it is. Well, I didn't explain it very well, but I've seen in some stations where you don't offer both varieties. Where I've seen you offer the non-drip free, but not the drip free, and the other way around as well.
Ah, okay. Yeah. No. Maybe you have seen a retail site where it's a dealer owned, or it's a licensee partner, or another model where they can decide even offer an AdBlue not from Shell, so from a third party, for example, and therefore no spill free. That is probably the message I would like to come across. We have 10,400 retail sites in Europe, but only in 3,400, but it's still a big network. In 3,400 sites, we do have and guarantee AdBlue from Shell offer.
Okay, thank you.
Just a question for me on the same point. Has one delivery mode become more popular, or has been clearly favoured by customers, so in terms of the size and the interface?
Well, at the moment, we clearly go for packed products because it's the easier method to implement, and of course, we also explore options more and more to build the infrastructure on pump options. But this is, as Stefan from BFT explained, also a really an investment case, and we do this is the same. Wherever it's really makes sense to build an AdBlue pump, we will do it. But coming back to this nice presentation in the morning from Volkswagen about infrastructure, I think for us it's very important that product is available. It doesn't matter if it's via a pump or packed, it's available from right now onwards, and it's well communicated by our service staff to the customer. That is for us the most important thing.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions? Yep.
Thorsten Burger from Audi. Did you also invest in any new pump-based filling device over the last 12 months?
AdBlue filling?
Devices, filling station or whatever, filling nozzles on your stations, not only canisters and so on.
Yeah. Okay. So we actually, after the test of we did 3 years with the OEMs. The trial was with 4 retail sites, and actually we invested in a couple of more AdBlue passenger car pumps, but not really a lot. So really case by case basis. Yeah. Not only in Germany but also in other markets. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And I think I saw one more question. Yeah.
Hello, Oriol Canut from Greenham. We ask OEMs about the future of diesel. Maybe it would be also good to ask you, as one of the biggest oil companies in the world, what is your expectation in terms of the diesel for the vehicles in the near future?
We hope that it will stay the same, or even with a slight decrease. I think the dieselification we've seen, especially in Europe, is a success. If you look long term, is still an efficient game on a CO2 perspective. So overall, I think it's a solution where we try to give the customer the option to reduce the NOx as much as they can. Yeah. But I can give you an example. We see, for example, and we don't know exactly what's the reason. I told you that with the forecourt attendant, we sold more than double of AdBlue than on retail sites where we don't have a forecourt attendant. But on the other hand, we also sell much more and really extremely more AdBlue when the outside temperature is warm versus when it's cold, and we don't know what's the reason behind really. So and our demand planning and supply planning should be adjusted to it. So and that is something we're really looking forward that this AdBlue demand will be more and more stable over the year.